In this session, I'm going to be talking about 10 common misconceptions about legal nurse consulting. Certified legal nurse consultants know they have a good thing going and they enjoy their private club. Because they consult with law firms and insurance companies, you won't meet them in the hospital setting. In fact, I'm betting there's a high probability you've never met a certified legal nurse consultant. Why not? Because they don't hang where you hang. They don't hang in hospitals, long-term care facilities, or doctor's offices. Legal nurse consultants, they hang with attorneys at law firms, insurance companies, and also some private corporations. You also won't find job postings like you do for hospital jobs because certified legal nurse consultants are independent contractors. They own their own businesses, part-time or full-time. These facts contribute to why I'm not surprised that RNs have misconceptions about the legal nurse consulting specialty. And you might have some of these misconceptions yourself. In this presentation, I will bust the 10 most common misconceptions. Misconception number 1. An RN can consult with attorneys without CLNC certification. CLNC Jane Hurst explains why this is a dangerous misconception. She says legal nurse consulting is a recognized nursing specialty, and certification is the indication that an individual has obtained an advanced level of expertise through rigorous training. Jane continues and says CLNC certification not only provides the education necessary to practice in a safe and effective manner, it also denotes advanced expertise to prospective attorney clients. And continues saying working as a legal nurse consultant without specific training or advanced certification is similar to being responsible for direct patient care in a specialty area in which you have no experience. Jane says it's dangerous. So if you think, for example, about a med-surg nurse who floats to an ICU without any kind of experience or training for the ICU, that would be dangerous. And this is why LegalNurse.com offers CLNC certification for beginners. Anyone who tells you that you don't need training to become a legal nurse consultant is really dangerous. They're dangerous to attorneys, to the plaintiffs and the defendants that are represented by the attorneys, and they're dangerous to the reputation of the legal nurse consulting specialty. Also, from a business perspective, you're setting yourself up for failure if you don't know how to sell something, right? Like if you're going into an attorney's office and you really don't understand what it is you're doing, you're not going to be able to effectively sell that to an attorney. And then once you get those cases, you have a high probability of failing because you're not going to be performing to expectation. The way that I like to think about it is no experience with an attorney. So whether you're interviewing for the first time, working on your first case, no experience is a dress rehearsal. Every attorney-client relationship counts, right? And that's why you want to be able to do this right from the start. And in the CLNC certification program, that's the goal, to give you what you need to be able to successfully go out and consult with attorneys. So in that program, you're going to learn how to analyze cases, how to write reports, how to access the authoritative standards and resources, and how to perform 30 CLNC services to attorney clients. Plus, remember, this is a business, right? Even if it's just a part-time business. So you're going to want to understand business development, understand how to interview with attorneys, how to market with attorneys. And that's what the CLNC certification program is going to teach you. Misconception number 2, I need an advanced degree or a BSN at minimum. No, you really don't need a BSN or advanced degree. In fact, I'm very proud to say that many very successful certified legal nurse consultants do not have advanced degrees. What really matters most is your experience, your nursing experience, combined with the CLNC certification. Many attorneys really don't care about the letters behind your name, but what they do care about is that you're trained as a certified legal nurse consultant, and they expect you to know what it is they need and what it is they want and how to deliver. Okay, so that's going to be very important. Misconception number 3. The attorney market for CLNC consultants is saturated. Doreen Goldstein shares, with the increased number of CLNC consultants, I've seen more of a need because more attorneys know that working with certified legal nurse consultants is a benefit. Doreen says, the more consultants there are, the more attorneys hear about us and the more demand there is. There are 1,300,000 plus attorneys in the United States. 34,000 new attorneys graduate from law school every year. The good news, the attorney market can never be saturated. It only takes about 2 to 5 attorney clients to keep you busy full time, and with 1,300,000 plus attorneys, that's plenty of opportunity for all of us. Misconception number 4. Attorneys would never pay an RN $150 an hour. The Institute surveyed certified legal nurse consultants on fees, and this is what the results revealed. Most consultants were charging $125 to $175 an hour, and some of the more experienced consultants, because remember, this industry now, you have consultants that have been doing this for a couple of decades. The more experienced ones may charge up to $225 an hour. But I do recall one certified legal nurse consultant, Lynn Belcher, when she was setting out to approach attorneys about cases, she had a lot of trepidation about addressing fees. But once she got out there, she comes back and she says, you know, attorneys don't blink an eye when I quote $150 an hour. And I think the reason for this is $150 an hour is not only fair, right? It's really a bargain to these attorneys because in contrast, you've got these MD experts who are charging $1,000 or so per hour. And what's interesting to me is attorneys have been saying this my entire consulting life, that most of the CLNC consultants are actually more detailed than the MD experts. They're the ones who find those relevant facts and the things that make the difference in winning the case. Why? Not because they know more medicine than the MDs, but because, unlike the MDs, they're more likely to read the entire record. So certified legal nurse consultants are both cost effective and, in my opinion, and the opinion of many attorneys, more effective. Now, another perspective to think about here is that you're dealing with many multi-million-dollar cases. So when an attorney gets an invoice from you, you submit, let's say, a $10,000 invoice for a comprehensive project that you've done. $10,000 might seem like a lot, but when millions are at stake, as long as you're giving the attorney a strong work product, the attorney is not really going to consider that to be expensive. It's value for the dollar. What are they getting in turn for this invoice that you're submitting? Misconception number 5. I will be going against my nursing colleagues as a CLNC consultant. Doreen Goldstein knows better. She says, when screening medical malpractice cases, the majority of the time, I advise the plaintiff attorney that there is no negligence. It feels good to be able to support my nursing profession when the standards are met. Doreen says, likewise, if I discover negligence, I objectively educate the attorney about the deviations from the standards. So the way that I think about it is, certified legal nurse consultants, they neither favor nor betray the nursing profession because our job is not to take anybody's side, right? Our job is to get in there and analyze the case, identify the appropriate standards, whether those standards have been upheld or deviated from by the profession. We're there to figure out what's really going on in the case, right? And we are educating the attorney about the very standards that are established by the profession itself. We don't make up the standards. We're not vigilantes for injured people, nor are we protectors of the overworked, underpaid registered nurses. Our job is simply to accurately represent the standards of the nursing profession and to be objective educators to the attorney, whether we're working plaintiff or defense. I might add that if we don't speak for nursing standards, I can pretty much promise you someone else is happy to step up and do so. MDs are very happy to speak to your standards. Hospital administrators are very happy to speak to your standards, and even insurance companies. Now that is a scary thought. Misconception number 6. Attorneys can review medical records themselves. I might admit that pretty much anyone, even an attorney, can be trained to read words in a medical record. But that does not mean that they fully understand what they're reading. And I think as a registered nurse, you understand what I'm saying here, right? So smart attorneys, they understand that they know the law and that the certified legal nurse consultant knows nursing and healthcare. A recent case illustrates why one certified legal nurse consultant's attorney said, "I could not do this without you." The case involves competency issues in a dying man who signed a land deed over to his new wife. After navigating through a large volume of electronic medical records resulting from a lengthy hospital stay, the C&C consultant discovered that the medication records were missing, and she advised the attorney to obtain them. Now, the average attorney might not be thinking about the importance of medication records and how they can relate to a competency issue, but a C&C consultant will. So sure enough, the records come back, the C&C consultant is reviewing the records, and she identifies that the patient had been on a morphine drip while signing the deed. The attorney was then able to use that fact, a fact he probably would not have found on his own, to prove that the man was incompetent to sign the document. Now, I said that, some attorneys can be trained to read words in a chart, but even an attorney who can read words in the chart cannot read between the lines. They've never worked in the emergency department, the OR, the ICU, the psych unit, the home health care facility, right? So what you're doing is you're bringing real world experience to that case, and attorneys are going to respect you for what you bring. And that's why I love what Dale Barnes says. She says, the attorneys I work with, they appreciate the work that I do. They say thank you, and they refer me to their colleagues. Dale says, when would I ever get that response, receiving recognition from an MD or an administrator? Misconception number 7. To be a C&C consultant, you must be willing to testify. Dale Barnes busts this misconception. She says, when RNs hear that I'm a certified legal nurse consultant, the first assumption they make is that I'm always a testifying expert. That could not be further from the truth. Dale says, the majority of my business involves working behind the scenes as a consulting expert on a variety of medical malpractice and personal injury cases. So, like Dale, most certified legal nurse consultants do not testify. They consult on cases behind the scenes. So, if you're the type of person who's not interested in testifying, that does not mean that this is still not a right fit for you. Misconception number 8. Most C&C consultants work in-house for law firms. Now, there are some of the larger law firms that do hire in-house full-time RNs, right? They're employees of the law firm. But most certified legal nurse consultants, they actually work as independent consultants. And so the beauty of that is they get to create their own schedule. They're charging fees up to $150 an hour, and they get to consult as much or as little as they want. And a great market for independent certified legal nurse consultants are the attorneys that work in the smaller law firms. So 76% of all law firms have 5 attorneys or less. these law firms don't have those in-house full-time registered nurses. So they're a tremendous market for you. They're the ones that are going to need you. To kind of give you a perspective here, my first attorney that I ever worked with, he had 4 other attorneys in his firm. So it's a firm of 5 attorneys. He and one partner could pretty much keep me busy full-time. So of course, there's going to be a place if you're interested in working inside a law firm or inside an insurance company. There is a place for that. And you will have like that full-time job, that steady paycheck. But what you might not have is that freedom that you're seeking and the income potential that the independent CLNC consultants enjoy. And remember, you really only need about 2 to 5 attorney clients to stay busy full-time. Misconception number 9. CLNC consultants can only consult with attorneys. That's definitely a misconception. Now keep in mind, we've got 1,300,000 plus attorneys in the US. So attorneys are an important market. They're the obvious market, but they're not the only market. Just as an example, certified legal nurse consultant Jane Hurst, she consults with an international medical device company. And with this particular company, they sell a medical device here in the US. So she helps them from a defensive perspective, right? And then also, if there is litigation, then she can be involved in that because she knows pretty much how cases are dealt with here in the United States. Doreen Goldstein, we like to think of her as a go-to consultant from one of the biggest elevator companies in the US. So she's helping this large company to defend the injury cases that are the result of elevator type injuries. The bottom line, there's really no limit to what you can do or who you can work with as a certified legal nurse consultant. Again, attorneys are the obvious choice, but not the only choice. There's a lot of corporations out there. They produce medications, they produce products. People get injured from these medications and from these products, and therefore these corporations can represent an opportunity for certified legal nurse consultants. So the possibilities are really limitless. Misconception number 10. This is too good to be true. It can be scary to move toward a new goal. It can also be scary to start something new when you're already working a full-time job. But fear of starting something new doesn't make that opportunity too good to be true. So what I always encourage beginners to do is just test it for yourself by getting started part-time. You don't have to quit your day job, right? Many of you work 12-hour shifts. You get 4 days off each week to get started. So start with one attorney. If you like it, if you're good at it, if you can consult with that one attorney, you can consult with 2. If you can consult with 2 attorneys, you can consult with 4. 39 years ago, when I left the hospital, I told my RN friends, I'm never coming back to the hospital unless I'm in a coma. And I didn't. Once you experience firsthand the private club of certified legal nurse consultants, you will never look back. So there you have them, the 10 common misconceptions about legal nurse consulting. And now that you know some of the facts, I hope that you'll be able to make an educated decision about whether this growing specialty is the right fit for you. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you have additional questions, please be sure to contact the Institute.